you have to go out and earn whatever it is you apply for. And in this case, I think what I learned, which is what I wish I would have learned much sooner, was the videotaping part. The fact that I had to go sit in front of a camera and interview. Yeah, there's the answering the questions, which makes you do the research on the district, but I think the secondary part, which I think actually is the most primary part, was I got to take a look at myself when I was interviewing. And so I noticed certain body movements. I noticed I tilted my head one way. I noticed, that, I would sit more aggressively on certain questions if it was a question that got me, I don't know, agitated is not a good word, but if it stirred emotions. And so I learned, wow, if I'm learning this in the video process, what have I been doing in the other interviews in front of board members? And so having to sit, collect your thoughts, look at your body movement, I think helped me when I got to the actual interview, because then I realized, okay, don't sit aggressively with board members. I think I learned to pace myself, that you had a finite time to answer certain questions. And I just think it was a process that I think not a lot of firms do. I don't know that any other firms do it right now. But I think it's a process that I think is invaluable for superintendent candidates. And we noticed it. I noticed it as a superintendent when we hired our football coach, because we used the same process. From the other end, you can see mannerisms of applicants that immediately tell you, oh, they're just giving you a textbook answer. They really haven't studied you. And so I've been on both ends through this process. And, in the case of us hiring our football coach, we hired a superstar football coach, I think, in part because of this process.
Yeah, definitely. I think has been like one of the very exciting experience, I think, from the beginning. The level of professionalism that you and your team, showed me as a candidate. Obviously, I didn't know, I didn't see, or I didn't know. I mean, the level of, confidentiality that was provided, I think is also, that was very good. So I knew that I could pretty much I could not only respect but also trust the process. I knew that that if I was the one that's the best fit for the district, I knew I was going to be selected, because it was transparent. The process was transparent. The process was very professional, very confidential. And what I realized is that you and your organization, your firm, was really looking for the best fit for the district, and looking also for the best fit for the candidate, right? So it wasn't just trying to find the person, okay, let me give this person to this district, or this district to this person. It was really like based on data, based on characteristics of the candidate, as well as the district, and also what they were, expectation, that what they were looking for in the candidate. So I can felt it. Also, I like the fact that I was able to interview and do those video montage prior, because that gave me an opportunity not only to practice, but also show them who I am, right? Because sometimes you submit a piece of paper to for an interview, and people don't know really. I mean, they can just judge you based on what they see on a piece of paper, but it's lacking that human touch, lacking that really, because they need to see, they need to hear, and they need to see if feel if there is maybe this one of these persons or this candidate could be the person that we're looking for, right? So I really love that about your company and how they did it, and I really feel like that really gives everybody a fair shot, right, at whatever position or whatever job they're looking for.
So in working with JG Consulting, I think the uniqueness of the experience, of course, was that it was my first experience. However, I think when I speak to other aspiring female superintendents, there's always the question of, how do I get in? What do I need to do in order to reach my career goal of being a superintendent? I think the unique aspect was the fact that I was an unknown entity. I had no political connections with your organization or anyone in the community. What I'm most proud of, one, is that, I did receive fair treatment, but I won this job on my own merit. I think every applicant wants wants that known. You want to be hired based on your qualifications and the talents and the skills that you're going to bring to the job. So I appreciated the entire process. I thought it was quite different in that the whole video experience was something I had never done before, but I did get some tips from other candidates who had done some videos, and I took all of those tips to heart. But even after that, just the interface with you and with everyone in your organization was just extremely professional and really quite individualized.
Currently, I serve as superintendent of San Marcos CISD. It's about 30 miles south of Austin, Texas. It's a school district of about 8,000 students and growing, about 70% Latino, about 73% economically disadvantaged.
Currently, the proud superintendent of Donna ISD. Donna, it's South Texas. We have about a little over 14,000 students, predominantly Latino students, and 94% of our students what we call economically disadvantaged. So I've been there. This is my third year as a superintendent, Donna. Prior to that, I was an assistant superintendent at Spring ISD, and also before that, most of my career has been in the Houston area, Houston ISD. I was a lead principal for several years. I was a principal for several years, an assistant principal, teacher. So I started, and I think most of my career has been in the Houston ISD.
So I currently serve as a superintendent for Hutto ISD, a fast growth district located just northeast of Austin. This is my 39th year in education, 38th year in public ed, and I'm enjoying it tremendously. Hutto ISD is unique again in that it's a fast growth school district, but it still maintains that small town feel and small town values. I really enjoy the people and the staff there.
You know, I was a chief school officer in Houston and had interviewed all over the country and always got to number 2. And I think when San Marcos came open, you know, James, you never promised anything, yeah. Right? You said, I think intuitively you realize that there are certain districts that require certain leadership styles, and so I researched San Marcos. I applied, and you know, I actually didn't think I got the job because during the interview, I think I got into an argument with a couple of the board members during the interview. But I think that was part of the test. They wanted to see, I think, you know, whether I would stand my ground on certain issues, and you know, so it was you. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It was James Guerra.
So yeah, it's to me. I mean, I know people, you know, sometimes make fun of me when I said I never shy away from a challenge. I look at challenge as an opportunity. I always loved math when I was growing up, and I loved solving a great math problem. And I tell them all the time, like, you know, I don't like easy. Easy gets me bored, right? And so I wanted, when I looked at what was going on in Donna, and Donna has been going, or has been going through some turmoils, whether political, as far as so financial, as I just mentioned, and somehow academic, right? And so I think when I saw that, and I also saw the demographic of the students and the need of having like an important to change what is going on in that district. I saw it as a challenge, but also an opportunity to really have a bigger impact and turn things around. Is something that always attracted me. And
I think it was all about timing. At the time that I made the decision to apply for Hutto ISD, I was the assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction in Fredericksburg ISD. And I had the unique fortune of being able to work with Dr. Eric Wright, who's now the superintendent in Hayes Consolidated. And he was just a phenomenal mentor to me. And when I mentioned to him that I aspired to be a superintendent one day, he immediately took me under his wing and again was just a fabulous mentor in helping me navigate that preparation and getting ready for the right district. When Hutto ISD came open, because of its unique location, I knew that that would be the district for me. So it was about timing, it was about the place where I was and the fact that the right community came open that kind of fit my values and where I wanted to lead.
There's several accomplishments. I'll speak to the one that sticks out the most because it impacts students. And that's when we made a decision 2 years ago to put 100% of our eighth graders into Algebra 1, which hadn't been done. Traditionally, school systems will have an Algebra 1 track, and then they'll have a pre-Algebra 1 track, and then they'll have a double secret probation Algebra 1 track. And we made the decision to put all our students in, 100% of them in, and the first year we had 80% of them pass the state end of course exam, which if you know the state exams, that's one where kids tend to struggle. And so it showed us that middle school kids, if they have the right teachers in front of them, can do really well. I think the second thing that I'm most proud of in the district is we were designated as an early college high school, so we have a group of students that here in 2 years will have the potential to earn their associate's degree when they walk the stage, which is huge for our community, and it puts those families and those kids on a really good pathway. And then I think third is probably not one I ever really talk about as superintendent, but one I think that needs to be said in this day and age. I think I'm proud of building leaders. Diverse leaders. Our school district has never had an African American principal, and we have two. We have a lot of leadership that are women that have their doctorates, and I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of.
The first one, when I get there as superintendent, one of the things we had to tackle was the financial issue. The district received an F in the first financial rating, TEA rating. Plus, we had to adopt my second month. I think we adopted a deficit budget by $4 or $5 million. So we had to really make difficult decisions and really have to be really smart about how we spend our money. And by the end of that year, not only we balanced the budget, but we end up with a surplus of $17 million in our budget. So we were able really to turn things around within 1 year. We also, in that same year, after we submitted the audit to TEA, we went from an F in that rating to an A, which is 100 out of 100 points pretty much we got. So we turned things around rather quickly. So I'm very extremely proud of, but it took really a team for us to turn that around. Also, the other thing that I'm proud of is also the academic piece. We were able really also to take the district from a 77, a C rating in the A through F system to an 85, also a B within also 1 year. So not only were we able to turn the financial of the district rather quickly, we also would turn around also the academic. Then we also added a lot of other programs and things like that. The other thing that really I want to touch base is really the situation with the COVID and how our community, our district, our teachers, our students, our parents really, reacted to this COVID-19 situation. I think, in most part, it brought us all together closer, and also really everybody, I think really everybody, from the parents to the teachers to the staff to the students, I think everybody really showed that sense, that sense of resilience and grit that I knew that was existed in our district, but really this COVID-19 brought it up to light, in a different way. And I feel like despite all the challenges, we were able really to turn things around. We were able to train our teachers, to teach virtually, like the Google Classroom and all that stuff within really a month or two over the summer. We also were able to buy devices one-to-one. We became like a one-to-one district within no time. We're also working on getting internet access through towers and hotspots. So we've been doing a lot of great things, but I think more than anything is that human capital, right? Everybody, and I mean everybody, really came together and really showed resilience and grit. And I think that we were able really to help our students, despite everything, continue their learning.
The biggest tasks straight into the superintendency was looking at another bond issue. It had been 11 years since Hutto ISD had gone out for bond, and Hutto is a fast growth school district. So we immediately got to work on putting that bond package together, and we were successful first time out. So it was one of the largest bonds in the history for Hutto ISD. I'm really proud of assembling the team that helped me put that together and just connecting with the community, and obviously getting the community support to continue to manage the growth in Hutto. So that was one of the biggest accomplishments. I think the second one is just that creating that sense of community with the board and with the people, with the staff, with Hutto ISD, and the people in the town. So we're extremely proud of the relationships that we have built and just continue to build that goodwill and trust in the school district.